Have you ever wondered what actually happens to your resting heart rate, your blood sugar, and even your brain when you walk 10,000 steps every single day for a month? I mean, is it just some fitness fad, or does it trigger massive science-backed transformations from the inside out? Today, in this explainer, we are unpacking a really fascinating 30-day personal experiment. It was exhaustively documented by a user on Reddit, and we're going to cross-reference their journey with hard metabolic science and orthopedic data. You're going to see exactly what changes day by day, week by week, and we'll uncover the surprising truth about whether you actually need to hit that magical 10,000 number. Okay, let's dive right in with a massive number. 15,000. That is the amount of extra calories you can burn in a single month just by hitting 10,000 steps daily. To put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of burning off roughly 3.5 to 4 pounds of pure fat, and that's assuming your diet stays exactly the same. But, before we get into the physical and mental hurdles of this 30-day challenge, we've got to ask a foundational question. Section 1. Why 10,000 steps? Fact or fiction? So, get this. The 10,000 step rule was literally invented back in 1965. A Japanese company called Yamasa launched a pedometer right after the Tokyo Olympics called the mmHg, which directly translates to 10,000 step meter. And why that number? They literally just picked it because it was memorable and it sounded really good in advertisements. It wasn't based on physiology at all. Fast forward to modern research. A 2022 study in The Lancet showed that for older adults, the health benefits actually plateau around 6,000 to 8,000 steps. And then an enormous 2025 Harvard review tracking 160,000 people found that walking just 7,000 steps a day reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease by 25%. So the hard science says you absolutely don't need 10,000 steps. But what actually happens when you push yourself to do it anyway? Section 2. Week 1, the struggle and the mental hurdles. Let's be real here. Week 1 is not some glamorous fitness montage. It is a grind. Take it from Reddit user SorryABs1127, who documented this entire 30-day journey. They said, the first week was rough. Getting to 10,000 steps felt way harder than I expected. Mentally, it felt like a chore. And man, that is intensely relatable. We have to remember that 10,000 steps equates to roughly 4.5 to 5 miles of walking. For the average person, that takes about 90 minutes. Trying to carve out an hour and a half of pure walking time when you just aren't used to it, that is a massive mental and physical shock to the system. And that shock isn't just in your head, right? It's physically in your joints. Orthopedic doctors warn that making a sudden jump from a totally sedentary lifestyle straight to 10,000 steps can severely overload your knees, your ankles, and your lower back. I mean, if you have flat feet or weak surrounding muscles, this sudden spike in impact can literally lead to stiffness, heel pain, and swelling. Your body simply isn't prepared to absorb that much repetitive stress right out of the gate. But if you can push through that initial pain or pace yourself properly, a huge shift starts to happen in the second week. Section 3. Week 2. Building the habit and adapting your strategy. The real secret to surviving week 2 is adapting your strategy. Trying to do one continuous 90-minute walk can feel completely daunting, especially with a busy schedule. But here is the trick. Breaking those steps into smaller, scattered chunks, like say 3 20-minute walks, yields the exact same calorie burn and health benefits. Our Reddit user even noted that 90% of the time, they were just getting their steps in at home by pacing around while watching YouTube videos. It absolutely doesn't have to be a scenic, continuous hike to count. And because of that consistent movement, some really profound internal changes are happening under the hood by day 14. You might just feel like you're sleeping a bit better, but chemically, your body is producing a heavier adenosine buildup. That's the specific molecule that makes you feel naturally sleepy. Plus, your body temperature regulation is improving, and the physical stress of the walks is actually causing your evening cortisol levels to drop significantly. The result? You fall asleep way faster, and you wake up with noticeably more energy for the day ahead. Section 4. Week 3. Noticeable changes and where the magic happens. This is where the mindset completely flips. Our Reddit user noted, by weeks 3 and 4, walking had turned into a routine. I wasn't thinking about it much anymore, it was just part of my day, like brushing my teeth. Think about that. That initial painful friction of week 1 is completely gone. Consistency has turned a grueling 90-minute chore into a frictionless daily standard. And while the brain is adapting to this new normal, the cardiovascular system is undergoing an absolute transformation. By week 3 of hitting those 10,000 steps daily, your blood pressure can drop by 4 to 8 millimeters of mercury. That is an effect literally comparable to some blood pressure medications. Your resting heart rate drops too. But the most amazing stat here has to do with blood sugar. When you walk, your muscle contractions activate something called GLUT4 transporters. These little guys literally pull glucose straight out of your bloodstream to use for energy, and they do it without even needing insulin. Just light walking after a meal shrinks your post-meal glucose spikes by up to 30%. Your body is literally becoming a highly efficient engine.
Section 5, Week 4, the final push and the results.
Now we finally get to look at the real, measurable physical changes, specifically the weight loss. Now, it's important to understand that weight loss isn't entirely fair. It is purely based on physics. A heavier body just requires more energy to move. So while a 130-pound person burns about 260 calories walking 10,000 steps, a 220-pound person burns over twice as much, 530 calories, doing the exact same distance. Basically, your starting weight heavily dictates your calorie deficit.
So, the crucial takeaway here is understanding the limits of walking alone. Over the 30 days, our Reddit user went from 89 kilos to 86 kilos. That's dropping about 3 kilograms, or 6.6 pounds. But how exactly did they do it? Well, research shows that walking alone usually results in about 1/3 to 2/3 of a pound of weight loss per week. But combining that daily walking with just a modest 300-calorie diet deficit, that pushes you into the 1 to 1.5 pounds per week range. Our user specifically noted that they prioritized protein-rich, home-cooked meals to maintain that 300-calorie deficit. That combination right there, that is the true secret to maximizing fat loss. Section 6, Key Takeaways and Practical Tips.
So, after digesting all of this data, how can you actually apply it to your own life without burning out by day 3? Well, here is your blueprint. Step 1, aim for progression, not perfection. Remember, the science says jumping from 2,000 to 5,000 steps is a massive win for your overall health, even if you never actually hit that 10,000 mark. Step 2, break it up. Do a 20-minute chunk after lunch or dinner to completely blunt those glucose spikes we talked about. Step 3, protect your joints. Lab testing shows that highly cushioned shoes, like the Saucony Triumph 23 or the New Balance Ellipse, offer incredible shock absorption to save your knees from all that repetitive impact. And finally, step 4, if weight loss is your ultimate goal, pair your walking with a small 300-calorie daily deficit. As one commenter beautifully put it, the best exercise is the one you can do every day. You really don't need extreme diets or some expensive gym membership to fundamentally rewire your metabolism. You just need the discipline to put one foot in front of the other. So I want you to ask yourself this. If 30 days of walking can literally change your brain chemistry and your blood sugar, what is an entire year of movement going to do for your lifespan? Let me know your current daily step count in the comments below, share your progress if you try this out, and make sure to subscribe to this explainer for more health deep dives. Keep moving, and we'll see you in the next one.